The Boys, one of the best shows I've ever watched, has come to an end, and honestly, I'm kinda sad. It was one of the last consistent shows left that I had any interest in. Regardless of if the show ended well or not, it was one of the last shows left for me.
Even if I have to drag your broken fucking carcasses over the finish line, we are going all the way, no matter the cost.
I never got into Gen V. I watched the first season, but never watched the second. I know I should, but I'm just not interested in those characters. The one character that I liked was killed in the first episode of season 1. I like Marie, and Kate is cool, but I do, however, find it very strange to hype up Marie to be some kind of ultra powerful soup, but doesn't put it to use. Apparently there's a spin-off coming that's set in Mexico, which could be interesting, but we don't know enough about it to even say anything. I don't even think they have mentioned the plot, but that could be interesting. But obviously, I don't think any Gen V or the Boys characters would appear. And if they canceled Gen V due to lower viewership or whatever, I don't see how the Mexico series would do better, since it's not as connected to the main series and it takes place in a whole other country. But I'm still going to watch. Though there is one spin-off that I am actually pretty excited for, and skeptically looking forward to it. That show is Vought Rising, an upcoming prequel series to The Boys set in the 1950s that explores the origins of Vought International through a murder mystery involving early versions of Soldier Boy and Stormfront, and how The Boys, albeit to a fault, did a good job setting up the spin-off. It introduced characters and plot lines that are somewhat interesting enough for me to watch it. Not to mention, it stars Soldier Boy, my favorite character in The Boys. This show features, obviously, Stormfront, aka Liberty, Soldier Boy, and 3 other new soups, Bombsight, who we've obviously seen in The Boys Season 5, who is also now human. Bombsight apparently was a junkie in the 50s and probably will act a lot differently than he did in The Boys, which is unfortunate because I liked him in The Boys. The other 2 soups being someone named Torpedo, who, I don't know, I guess spins or something, and Private Angel, who, again, I don't know, probably flies and shoots lasers or something. I have a feeling she will be the craziest one of the group. Now obviously these soups are all V1 soups, meaning they have super duper strength and durability, like on Homelander's level at the minimum, and they are all immortal, meaning they live forever and don't age. I think it's safe to say that Soldier Boy is the strongest of the bunch, just with pure strength. He obviously doesn't have his chest blast in the show, as that was developed after he was captured by the Russians. Soldier Boy is probably the strongest, with Bombsight being a close second. Stormfront might be the most powerful just overall due to her strength, durability, and flight, while also having lightning powers, which easily makes her really OP. But she can't go toe-to-toe with Homelander like Soldier Boy and presumably Bombsight can. But we also haven't seen the other V1 soups powers yet, so we will see. Stormfront got cooked by 13-year-old Ryan, but I know power scaling in the Boys universe is very inconsistent, but as far as other soups go, I would assume that there are other soups in the world already. I think I heard that Compound V trial started in the 40s or 50s, and the show is a murder mystery, so I would assume that it's another soup murderer and not a human, but who knows? We will find out more as the months go by. One thing I am sort of worried about is the writing and humor. Soldier Boy, while being my favorite character in The Boys, dialogue and motivations are off. Most of his dialogue is just sex, or sex puns, or sexual relations with past women. I can't say some of it isn't funny because it definitely is. He's my favorite character for a reason, but I feel like the fact that it was a fish out of water situation made it funnier. The queen face joke always will be a masterpiece though.
Buddy, the Queen sat on this face. It's a national fucking treasure.
Also Clara, aka Stormfront, aka Liberty, who he apparently is in love with now. I don't know. I thought Countess was the one he loved, but I guess Clara was his first love. Which is fine. I know a lot of people are making a big deal about it, but honestly, I feel like they'll explain it further in the show. I worry that most of the humor in the show will be just that, while also being extremely racist, obviously, since the show stars literally all white people, set in the 50s, and Stormfront, a proud white supremacist, aka Nazi, is literally in the show. But to be fair, obviously I don't think Bombsight shares the same views since he fell in love with Goldie, who is obviously not exactly white. But I have no doubt Private Angel is probably the most racist. But I have a sneaky suspicion that she will have some black or brown love interests on the low.
What the fuck did you say?
It's literally nothing.
Jesus. How hard?
What?
How hard did Butcher suck your dick that you miss him that much?
Now, at this point in time, Soulja Boy doesn't know Liberty is a Nazi, since he obviously hates Nazis. Now, how does Liberty, a proud Nazi, hide the fact that she's a Nazi from Soulja Boy for decades is a mystery to me, but hey, Soulja Boy isn't exactly the smartest of the bunch. We will have to see how they go about it. Torpedo is a very interesting one. We don't know much about him, but he gives that leader vibe, like he's the smartest of the group and the quote-unquote good one of the group. Sort of similar to Homelander vibes in the first couple episodes of season 1, while also having one of, if not the best suit in the entire show. But he's definitely a character I feel will be sort of a fan favorite, but we will see. I'm curious to see him. Torpedo definitely feels like he takes the job very seriously and doesn't mess around with the antics of the other group members. Liberty, we kind of know how she will be, but I think she will be more upbeat and positive. I always thought her costume was good, just hated the shaved hair, but she will look completely different in this show since she's technically a different hero. Same with Soulja Boy in a way, but with Soulja Boy, he's still very similar. But his suit in Vought Rising is pretty mid compared to his current suit. But it's set in the 50s. It's supposed to be silly and more wacky. Like Liberty with the blonde hair and silly costume. I do expect they will explore their love and relationship a lot. At this point, I'd be disappointed if they didn't after all the references in season 5. Bombsight will also be very different. As I said before, he's supposed to be a junkie and probably not a very good person. We know Soulja Boy hates him, even though I don't think it's real hate, there's still some sort of love there. I think their dynamic will be interesting and probably the most interesting. The two seemingly strongest members of the group, both good looking, but Soulja Boy is the one that gets the most shine, so definitely going to be some interesting back and forth between them. Private Angel, as I mentioned before, seems like the craziest member of the group. She has a look to her, and obviously she's a hot blonde white girl in the 50s. We are going to see levels of racism and bigotry unknown to man from just her alone. But like I said before, I think she will definitely have a black boyfriend on the low. I think that will be like the twist joke or whatever. I think she will definitely clash with Liberty though. Though I think Private Angel will be the more loved one. But it's hard to say because all the V1 soups are irrelevant today. We don't know if Torpedo or Angel is even alive. We can assume they are somewhere in the world, but you would think they'd mention that. I'm just curious to see their powers.
She says the truth is, she's gonna stick her boot up your Nazi kitty.
The murder mystery and plot will be interesting as well. I have no doubt this show will at least be good. Will it be the boys level? I don't know. The boys had at the very least 3 seasons of peak television. We know Vought Rising will have multiple seasons, or at least that's what I've seen somewhere. It's not like the Gen V situation exactly, because it features Soulja Boy, who is very beloved and popular. And The Boys itself is just an A-list franchise at this point. Not quite as big as something like Game of Thrones yet, but it's definitely one of the most popular franchises and has some of the most popular characters in television media today. Gen V didn't succeed for multiple reasons. Season 1 I thought was pretty impactful and successful, but when Season 2 released, I didn't hear much chatter about it. Maybe because it was released during another superhero show in Peacemaker, but who knows. The cast was great and with many different abilities. The actors did good, and I hope to see some of them again one day. But something tells me we won't see them again, or at least not for a very long time. Overall, I think Vought Rising will be a good show, and no doubt will be very funny and interesting. I'm curious to see how far they will go. Like the first season is set in the 50s, and the second season could maybe be in the 60s or 70s, but probably not to the Payback era. Since I don't know, or at least don't think the V1 soups were relevant or as popular once Soulja Boy joined Payback. There is also a big gap between Stormfront appearance and Liberty's appearance. We don't know exactly what happened like in detail, but I don't know how far down the road they will go into that. MM's backstory will probably not be in the show down the road with his grandpa, since I'm assuming that's too far down the road. But again, it just depends how far down the road the show will go. The show is currently set for 2027. It's done filming, and I'm extremely excited for the show. This show is probably my #1 most excited for of next year. Though I don't know many shows that are releasing. I expect to get a trailer sometime later this year, depending on what month the show actually releases, or probably Comic-Con. Despite how I or many others feel about the ending of The Boys, Vought Rising is probably going to do well, but it'll probably still have fans skeptical, especially after the cancellation of Gen V. But we will see how everything goes. That's all I have today, and yeah, peace.
Dreams save us. Dreams lift us up and transform us into something better. And on my soul, I swear that until my dream of a world where dignity, honor, and justice are the reality we all share, I'll never stop fighting. Ever.